For the national security leaker Edward Snowden, he is underground. The U.S. is on the hunt, and the NSA program he revealed is under scrutiny with more questions.
What if I told you that right now someone could be watching your phone, reading your messages, and tracking your every move without you ever knowing? Sounds like a dystopian nightmare, right? But for millions of people, this became a terrifying reality. And the man who exposed it all? Edward Snowden. He didn't just uncover the truth, he hacked the system, leaked thousands of top-secret documents, and became one of the most wanted fugitives in the world. This is his story. Imagine waking up and realizing that every call you make, every message you send, and even your private conversations are being recorded, not by criminals, but by your own government. One man discovered this terrifying truth, and he risked everything to expose it. His name? Edward Snowden. This is the story of how he hacked the NSA and became one of the most wanted men in the world. Edward Snowden wasn't just a hacker. He was an elite cybersecurity expert, working for the CIA and NSA, two of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world. His job was to secure classified information. But what he found inside those systems changed everything. The US government had built a massive surveillance machine, capable of tracking millions of people in real time. It didn't just spy on criminals or terrorists, it spied on everyone. Your calls, emails, social media activity, even your personal messages. Nothing was private. For Snowden, this wasn't about national security. This was about control. And he knew, if he didn't act, no one else would. The plan to leak the NSA's secrets. Stealing classified files from the NSA is nearly impossible. Their systems are built to be unbreakable. But Snowden wasn't an outsider breaking in. He was already inside. Instead of hacking like in the movies, Snowden used his administrator privileges to legally access restricted documents. He did it slowly and carefully, copying files in small amounts to avoid triggering security alerts. Over several months, he gathered thousands of top-secret documents, proof that the US government was running illegal mass surveillance programs. But collecting the data was only half the challenge. The real danger was getting it out. Snowden couldn't just post the files online. That would be reckless. Instead, he reached out to investigative journalists from The Guardian and The Washington Post. He used encrypted emails and anonymous communication tools to contact them. They were skeptical at first. After all, exposing government secrets is dangerous. But once they saw the evidence, they knew they had the biggest story of the decade. Snowden arranged a secret meeting in Hong Kong, where he handed over the documents. The journalists reviewed them carefully. And then, on June 5, 2013, the first story went public. The leak that shook the world. The world was in shock. The leaked documents revealed that the NSA was running a program called PRISM, a system that allowed them to collect data directly from companies like Google, Facebook, and Apple. They could see everything, from emails to private messages, phone calls, and even video chats. It wasn't just American citizens being watched. World leaders, businesses, and foreign governments were all under surveillance. The backlash was immediate. Governments around the world demanded answers. Protests erupted, demanding an end to mass surveillance. Even tech companies, who had unknowingly cooperated with the NSA, began changing their systems to protect user privacy. Snowden had achieved his goal. The world now knew the truth. But while people were calling him a hero, the US government saw him as a traitor. The manhunt begins within days. The US charged Snowden with espionage. They revoked his passport and ordered countries not to help him escape. He was now the most wanted man in the world. Snowden fled to Hong Kong, but the pressure was mounting. The US was pushing China to hand him over. With little time left, he booked a flight to Ecuador, hoping to seek asylum. But during a layover in Moscow, something went terribly wrong. The US government had revoked his passport mid-flight, trapping him at Moscow's Sheremetyevo airport. He was stuck in legal limbo. If he stepped into Russian territory, he risked arrest. If he stayed, he had nowhere to go. For 39 days, Snowden was stranded inside the airport. The world watched as he tried to find a safe country willing to take him in. Finally, Russia granted him asylum. He was safe, but at a cost. Snowden had lost his home, his family, and his freedom. His life in exile. Living in Russia, Snowden continued his fight for digital privacy. He spoke at conferences, worked on encryption tools, and warned people about government surveillance. But his life would never be the same. In 2020, Russia granted him permanent residency, and in 2022, he officially became a Russian citizen. Meanwhile, the US still considers him a criminal. If he ever returns, he faces immediate imprisonment. But despite being in exile, Snowden's actions changed the world. The US government was forced to reform its surveillance programs. Tech companies strengthened their security to protect user data. Millions of people became aware of how their privacy was being violated. Yet, the debate over Snowden's actions still continues. Was he a hero who sacrificed everything for the truth, or a traitor who put national security at risk? Edward Snowden exposed one of the biggest surveillance scandals in history. But did he do the right thing? Was he a hero or a traitor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.